Hi, this is Stephen with a short video on the types and sources of internal data that you might be able to locate before you proceed to a primary research project. What secondary research types of data can I find internally? Typically, you can find, if you're with a medium to larger sized company, a syndicated report or two. That could be Mintel, Market Line, packaged facts, etc., on your category or on the consumers that are of interest to you. You might also find past primary research reports. Bonus. You might look in the brand's files and find they've already done work on some group of customers that's of interest to you, like seniors or Gen Z, etc. Finally, you may very well, if you're a current company, have data on customers, prospects, website visitors, store visitors, etc. And that's what the key focus of this video will be. Can you find it internally? Well, if it's how frequently your customers shop, you probably can. You've probably got some kind of a data collection method on that. And if it's who visits a website, how often, the pages, it's probably internal too. What about observation data? That's what we call this. This is also otherwise known as house data. And a firm spends big to gather it, store it, etc. And so the idea is that you will use it if you're in marketing, sales, customer service, shipping, finance, but only appropriately. So once again, observation data is powerful, but it's also limited and risky. So please do not abuse the privilege of having access to customer data. So, for example, gas stations have data that's powerful and precise on things like fill up frequency and liters bought and grade bought and time of day of week, etc., method of payment. Websites have, all the information that's indicated here, airlines and hotels. In other words, most current businesses have extensive customer data that is powerful, that is precise. Netflix knows who logs in to watch, when they stream their content, if they finish watching that program or not. They don't know, however, and this is where we get into the limitations of observation data. They don't know if you really watch. You might be multitasking, you might be leaving the room. The program's still streaming in your empty room, and they're recording it as being viewed. They don't know who else watches with you, a friend, a romantic partner, kids, seniors, etc. They don't know if you enjoyed what you watched. So that's why they try to get around that limitation of observation data by adding new primary data. In other words, that little star rating thing at the end, they are looking for how much you enjoyed it. However, think about it. They still won't know why you enjoy it. And so they might have to use some algorithms or do further primary research to get that kind of insight. Okay, so where does that take us to? Well, these are the areas where internal data is often quite limited. Most data businesses do have a lot of internal data, but what it's weak on are things like why prospects or visitors or store visitors do what they do, why they feel that way. The behaviors and attitudes of non-customers. In other words, you know a lot about current customers, but the ones who go across the street, not much. The going forward mindset. So you know the history of what they've done, but you don't know what they're intending to do in the future. The values, what really drives those consumers. And finally, behaviors and attitudes outside the category that you're dealing with. The riskiness of internal data. Remember, it costs big to collect, store, practice hygiene, so you're getting rid of people who've passed away or moved away, and to keep it secure. So do not underestimate the costs and do not go in this cheap. And it's as the amazing Spider-Man says, with great power comes great, you got it. It's not free, in other words. Don't think of it as free. Never think of internal customer data as being free. Don't treat it casually. So some tips: go big or stay home. Invest in all those data security prospects and resources, or don't get in the first place. Second, the devil's in the details in terms of things like regulatory. So get to know Castle, get to know Pipita. If you don't know what I'm referring to, you shouldn't be handling customer data. Look before you leap. If you're going abroad with your business, make sure you know what the rules are there, what the expectations are there. They do vary around the world. Typically, Europe, by the way, has the most rigorous consumer protection legislation, but that can change. And finally, continue to invest, because guess what? Your past precautions may not be good enough given today's state of bots and hackers, etc. Internal data, what other options do you have? Well, I wanted to tell you that if you do have internal data, one interesting idea that I'll leave with you is sometimes those two areas that we said were typically weak, as in behaviors outside the categories and values, you can get a better sense of that by appending your data with a trusted data partner who has permission to share the data. You can merge the two files together, get the data on a slice of your customer file with that outside partner's permission-based data, and then do segment-wide analysis of their other behaviors, which can help you with, for example, what's important to them, their value system. So one special type of data append I will make you aware of, it's called psychographics. So it's the shared lifestyle and values of particular neighborhoods. And this has been highly and reliably modeled by major companies that are experts in data privacy, experts in data merging. And one of the best in the world is right here in Toronto. It's Environics Data, now a subsidiary of Prism. Sorry, a subsidiary of Bell. So with this in mind, consider that as a way of boosting the insights you might gain from your data file. However, only do this with trusted data partners. Thanks, and good luck with your internal data.